Hey, everybody, welcome to our podcast, Kiss.
Keep it simple, sister.
Hey, Diana.
Hi, Samantha. How are you?
Fabulous.
And I'm fantastic. Remember, fantastic is your word and fabulous is mine.
We're
But
really
I
glad
like
you like
fabulous. I mean, that sounded it was good.
well,
And do you when you
it
say fabulous, you automatically smile. You have to.
yeah, it's in the word.
Fabulous. It's
Yeah,
the way the
but it was really strange to do that.
it becomes habitual if you keep on trying it. But like I said, I liked it when you said fantastic. That seemed like it was more natural for you.
Yeah, it was. That just popped out of my mouth. See, you guys, we're constantly learning new things. Okay, let's jump into this. Welcome to our podcast. We are all about feeling great by feeling better. And that's all about the incremental steps that you can take to living a healthier and happier life. So, this is all about the tips, tricks, techniques, and even the products that Diana and I have used these many years that have helped us to traverse life's trials and tribulations and still retain a healthy, glowing, happy face. And not glossing over the crap. Like, it's tough. Life gets rough, but because of these things that we do, our life, we're able to, let me put it this way, we're able to navigate through life with a little bit more buoyancy than a lot of people do.
That's a good way to put it. I like
Thank you. I
that.
knew I'd eventually get there if I just kept rambling.
All right. Well, let's start with the flip side. That's how we always like to start. And the flip side is where Samantha and I kind of talk about things that happen in our lives that were a little challenging, a little troublesome, might not have been the best situation at the moment, but we try to find something good about it or something that we learned about it or some way that we can come out of the situation or kind of step away from the situation and see the positive. So that's the flip side.
Mhm.
So my flip side is about cars. So
Okay.
Annie and I both put our car into the Toyota dealership. So all my life, my dad was like, yeah, don't go to the dealership that, they rip you off. They spent, it's so much, blah, 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 blah.
Why did we say that?
I don't know because I think that they charge more for their
Brand
the
name
time they spend
products?
on it, not the parts, but the labor.
Oh,
They charge more on labor than maybe some shops might, like per hourly or whatever. I don't even know. But Annie has moved from Florida to Pennsylvania and has to get her car in Pennsylvania. It's crazy, crazy talk. Once a year, you have to get your car inspected.
yeah.
You have to pay for an inspection. And then if there's anything wrong, you have to fix the wrong stuff before they'll give you the little sticker for the window. And they didn't do that in Maryland. So it's something all new for us in Pennsylvania. So anyway, she had to do that to get her car registered from Florida to Pennsylvania. So I was like, just go to the dealership. They'll have the right parts and all that. Just, even if it costs a little bit more, that's okay. So she went online and she did the little appointment thing, but she did it for both of us. And we both have RAV4s. And mine is a 2018 and hers is a 2019. So it got all mixed. Like we went over and dropped the cars off, and we have an extra car because I have two cars, but Wedge can't drive a car. But now we need to get rid of a car. It's all car stuff. So we dropped them off, and they somehow mixed up our two cars and the whole system switched over to where they text you when the car is done or when they need to change whatever it was they were going to do on it or whatever. So midday, I get a text that says it's like 12:45, something like that. Your car's ready. So Annie and Wedge and I were out doing, there were multiple. He had to go to the doctor and he had to go to physical therapy. Like there was all kind of stuff going on.
Uh-huh.
And so she dropped me off and she said, do you want me to wait for you? And I was like, no, 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 it's fine. I'll just go in, I'll grab whichever car is ready, yours or mine. And then I'll come home. Well, I go in there and neither car is ready. And somehow they had switched it from one technician to another. It was oh my God, craziness. But then I thought to
It's been
myself,
referred to as a clusterfuck.
well, and I was about to say clusterfuck, and then I was like, it was a cluster for sure. So, all that was going on, and I was like, okay, well, I can call her to come back and get me, but she's already on the way to take Wedge to physical therapy, and that will complicate everything. I'll just hang out until, because mine was much more simple. You just had to change the oil and rotate the tires or whatever.
Yeah.
Across the street from the Toyota dealership where I was getting the servicing done is a used or sorry, a lot that has new cars and used cars. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to go over and look because we thought Wedge would be able to drive. Now we're thinking he can't drive. So I was just going to go look and see, like if I trade a car in, whatever, I might trade both. It's all in my brain doing all of this stuff. So I was like, I'll just spend this time and look around at cars and see what's going on over there, how much they cost and all that kind of stuff. So I go over and of course, immediately the salesman comes out and he says, hi. And I say, well, I just, if you've got something else to do, I don't want to hold you up, but this is my thought process. This is what I'm trying to figure out, what I'm going to do, whatever.
You have his total undivided
And
attention.
I did, and he was a very nice man. So I could have been completely annoyed with the fact that the people across the street were having issues, like it just the cluster could have thrown my whole day off. But then I decided, no, I'm just going to chill. I'm just going to go over and check the stuff out. Then I made friends with him. Very nice, Anthony. Very nice. And I told him everything that was going on. And so he helped me and I drove a new car and then could we get the trade in this and that. So we had the time, like when you go car shopping and you're there for hours and hours and you're like, I have got to get out of here. I got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have any place to go because they weren't done with the stuff across the way. So I just did all kinds of fact finding and investigation, and we made friends. And I talked to him about his son has ADD, and I told him that they made a good decision for holding him back in first grade. So I got to do some educational consulting as well as make a new friend. So it all turned out great. And I didn't buy a car because sometimes I will buy a car when something like that happens, but I did not. And so I'm really proud of myself that I was able to walk away without buying a car.
The way the way you just said, sometimes I'll buy a car though.
Well, what happens is I think about buying a car. I do all the research, all the things, and then I go there and then it makes sense. Like, I've already researched it. And yes, because that's how I ended up with the extra car that we have now. Because when Wedge had his stroke, he would hit his head on the car that we already had. So I got a Highlander instead of a RAV4 so that he wouldn't hit his head,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous. I know, but we traded in one car. We got that car, whatever. So now I came home with a car and he was like, are you kidding me? You came home with he had a stroke and he said, are you kidding me? You came
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't come home with a car. But I made a new friend and I
Very
got all
fun.
kinds of information and someday I might get a car from him. Who knows?
Oh my goodness.
That
Okay.
was a complicated flip, but it was a good day. It was fun.
Well, but that's how, like, that's an example of how some people would have sat there and been so frustrated because of all of the mess ups, and they would have been in the serviceman's face and a service person. And
He
instead,
was a man, but I
yeah,
get it.
you were just like, yeah, I'm gonna make the most of this. What else can I do? How productive can I
Well,
be?
and there was more to it. When I got the text and I went in and I talked to the lady to pay my bill and she's like, "Hold on, let me go look." He was on lunch. The serviceman was
Oh,
on lunch.
there was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there were a lot of things that led up to it, but it all ended up okay.
Well, good. Yay.
Yay!
So for my flip side, I I was devoting whoops, sorry about that. I was devoting some time with my mother um yesterday, and it was just going to be like some trip planning, lunch, go to Sam's Club. I should have looked at it like it was going to be 6 hour day, but I was like, no, 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 I'll have time to get all my other stuff done. So as the day kept wearing on, I was getting a little bit more stressy with my time with all the stuff I needed to do. And besides, I also wanted to get on a call with you and a couple of other women that we typically talk to on Mondays. And so anyway, I get home and I was not dressed appropriately for the day because it was a 20-degree jump. Like, yeah, I mean, it got, and it did the same thing today. I shouldn't say 20, probably 16-degree jump. So it started off cold and ended up being warm. So I'm feeling overheated. My husband's trying to get my attention. I am trying to get into my office and settled so I can get some stuff done. And, I come into the office and I leave my door open, which I never do because I have two male cats who just cannot get over themselves. They've got a mark territory. So while I'm out of my office, one of the cats comes in and decides to pee super fast, like not pee, spray. Okay. And it's gross. It's really
That
condensed
is the
grossness
worst smell ever in my
ever.
opinion.
Oh my God. So I walk into my office. I'm like, God. And I'm thinking, I just need to sit down, but no, now I have to clean. And I'm like, "Roar." And I I am so filled up with and
Rage. Rage.
rage, rage. I need to vent or whatever. Um, but, and I know this is going to sound like, like in the moment, like you guys have to understand, like I needed to go to the bathroom. I needed to change clothes. I was overheating. My husband was calling for my attention. I was trying to get this other stuff done and he was still calling for my attention. And, like when I was describing this to you guys yesterday, it was just like boom, boom, boom. Like I'm going one thing to the next, to the next. And all I wanted to do when I had come home was just to sit down in front of my computer and calmly get some work done.
Yeah.
So all of this stuff's going on, and I'm getting to this point, and then I was like, okay, I've got my pet peed. My pet peed spray is amazing. I mean, different people use different sprays to neutralize the smell. This is my go-to, is my pet peed. And we don't always have it. Like sometimes we run out of it and then it takes a while to arrive. And I was so grateful. Like I stopped in the moment and just thought, but I have it. I can neutralize that fucking smell. So I go and I grab it and I spray and I sit down to do work and I see a message pop up from like apparently you guys got on the call, but I'm like, I don't have time for that. I'm going to release from that. I'm just going to focus on work. But I hit it and all of a sudden it comes up and I see you guys talking and I'm like, well, this is interesting. You're like, look who showed up. And I could have just been in that moment of, I can't talk, I can't do this. And yet, just that simple seeing y'all's smiling faces, ready to receive me, so happy I jumped on. And it's like, because of where I guess we are with how we've worked on this stuff, I was able just to release from all of it and just laugh and jump into the moment? So it's like there was chaos going on around me.
Uh-huh.
Um, and yet, because of all of these little things that we do to be aware and release, like what is it I really prefer to feel? I want to feel joy. I want to feel happiness. I want to feel connection. I want to talk to my soul sisters, my TAs, I want to talk to I want to be happy in my space. And it's like, oh yeah, I can deal with that. Oh yeah, I can deal with that. It's like I was able just to kind of, I gave my husband a few minutes of time to explain something to me that I already knew. And I was able to go to the bathroom, change clothes. Like I was able to manage all of the frustrations that came in on me so quickly. So I'm grateful for all of that. And I know it sounds strange. It's not like a big flip side, but it is a big flip side because I could have gone into my evening just raw.
Well, and the funny thing is, from my perspective, when you popped up, I was so happy to see you. And then, but you looked a little discombobulated, like and I was like, so surprised to see us. And then when you started saying all the things, I was like, "Don't feel like you need to I'm gonna authorize you to get off of here. Don't feel like you have to stay and talk to us. We're okay." But you were like, "Oh no, I choose this." And so that's good to know that it made you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it's amazing how you can, when you apply these principles and stuff, that life just shifts. It's easier, you know?
Well, and you have a choice to make.
Mhm.
You always have a choice. Do you wanna stay in the anger and frustration, or do you wanna look for something that gives you a little bit better feeling? And who wants to hang around in anger and frustration? Nobody.
Nobody, you know?
I mean, I
And
guess
I
some people do because they really love that, but I'm not that person for
well,
sure.
there's some people that hang out in that because they, it's the secondary benefit thing. When they think it's
Comfort
entertaining.
level
Yeah.
sometimes too, right?
Yeah, and you're a victim, you've been victimized, and the world's unjust, and, oh, it's such a shitty place to be in. I'm sorry, it's such a low vibe place.
Yeah,
And
we're not available for low vibe.
exactly. No, not at all. So, much happier. So, I'm coming up to visit Diana next
Soon,
week.
in a
Yeah.
matter of days,
Um,
we're very excited about it.
so actually, when we release this, I'll be on my way up there, maybe already there.
Yeah.
Um, and super excited about it. And we will have loads of adventures because with Diana, you absolutely never know. It's not that it's not adventurous with me, but it's just always so interesting.
My friend Peggy says, "I'd love to talk to you because you always have a story." And I do always have a story. Always. And I don't I mean, do I bring it to me? I don't understand. But anyway, I do live an adventurous life for sure.
Yes, you do. Okay, guys, we're going to jump into the positive path. And this is going to be kind of cool today. Um, and we don't always know when we're going to air these segments, but we know that we're airing this on the 18th of March. And that last week we did the channeling with BB. So you guys have seen the little bit of woo woo side of me. Um, so Diana and I thought it would be fun to talk about what I actually do, which is spiritual life coaching.
Yes.
So let me just start off with because people have heard of life coaches. Oh my God, everyone and their brother has a life coach. And what makes them different from a therapist, or a counselor, or psychiatrist, and all this other kind of stuff? So let me clarify this before we jump into it.
Okay.
Um, so I as a spiritual okay, the difference between spiritual life coach and life coach. A life coach is more the practical, okay, I'm going to say it from my point of view, which is not necessarily if there's life coaches out there, you may be upset by the way I put this, but this is just how I see it.
Well, and so everyone knows Samantha is my spiritual life coach and has been for quite some time, and other people too. So I can say from my perspective how it goes too. So go ahead. And I
So
don't have another kind of life coach, and I've never really been drawn to have someone be a life coach for
that
me.
well, so life coaches tend to take more of the practical, outwardly I want to say mundane tasks of life, and help you organize them. Like if you have ADHD, and you want to go to someone to say, help me get a handle on this and get my life going more practically in these steps.
Yeah,
Or I think that I want to get a new job. I don't know what's going on with me, but can you show me the ways in which that I can feel more confident and positive? But it's all, to me, it's all going outwards for the most part.
right.
So it's what in the environment can I improve, to make my life work better. Um, with spiritual life coaching, it's all inward. What can I do? What is it? What are the mechanisms? What's occurring here? It's really focusing on your um, your emotionality, maybe. But how you're perceiving the world, your perspective on things. And when you begin to get a handle on that, then all of these other things start to come into play. They start to get easier. They start to kind of manage themselves. It's not that you still don't need the aspects of what life coaching offers. It still could be, hey, like I've talked to someone and said to them, like they felt so depressed, they couldn't even go out the door. Like they were that depressed. And I said, okay, let's take this in pieces. And so this is kind of more life coaching right here, where it'd be like, let's start with making up your bed. I said, there are so many steps to making up your bed. What I want you to do day one is just put your pillow up into a position that's not thrown across, it's just up. Then the next day, and I had to write these down. The next day, you're going to pull the sheets up. That's all you're going to do. You're going to walk away, but you're going to pull the sheet up. And that's it. Pillow in the right position, sheet up. Then the next day, you're going to pull the rest of your blankets or comforter or whatever up and straighten out the wrinkles, have a nice looking bed, and be able to say, I have moved away from my bed. That is done. I said, this is like, it was like going to be a 5-day process. And then, because she said, I said, what do you miss most? And she said, feeling the sun on me. And I said, okay, now, once we get that done, you're going to go to your door and you're just going to open up your door and you're just going to look at the world outside. 5 minutes, set a timer, shut the door, go do whatever else. So we eventually had it where she was going out to the mailbox, where she was sitting on her front porch, where she was actually waving at people. Those steps are all kind of life coaching kind of things.
Yeah.
But there is emotionality in it. But it's like all of that was an outward sign of what her world was happening in her world. But it was helping her to feel more in control. And
Right.
so then when we jump into the spiritual life coaching aspect of it, it's your perspective on the world. How, like, you could be in the crappiest situation, but if you can learn how to free your mind and feel positive, because you're the only one that can feel, like, choose that happiness,
Yeah.
choose that positive feeling. So once you can see from that perspective by releasing these emotional blocks that are holding you down, and by embracing gratitude and learning certain techniques of mindfulness, then you can be in a shitty situation and have a beautiful perspective on the world and feel happy.
Well,
So,
and there
yeah.
are times in life, I mean, for me, and I'm sure for you too, we've been working on this mindfulness stuff for a really long time, and we've got a lot of techniques that come naturally to us.
Mhm.
But for so many people, those aren't natural,
Yeah.
and so that's one of the things that you're working on. But there are times in life that even if you have these techniques, you can't access them because the emotions that are driving you
Yeah.
put push you down. And so I kind of had that same thing this week that Samantha helped me um kind of work through, and we're still working through it.
Mhm.
Um so it's not that you're ever done.
No,
Right? Because
no.
I just want to be done. Can I just be done now? But you're never done, but you're on this continuum, and hopefully you have someone like, I'm so lucky to have you as my spiritual life coach that can help me in these situations change my perspective a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah. It's Thank you.
And all the rest of you need Samantha too, I'm just saying.
Well,
No,
so
real
okay.
I mean, you're so talented at what you do, you make it seem easy, but
Mhm.
it's not. I mean, okay, go ahead. So tell everybody.
Yeah, and I've been in the struggle. I know what the struggle feels like. It's we all have the contrast happening, the negative stuff in life. It doesn't it's a part of accepting being in this particular three-dimensional experience. You're going to have that. And so it's not that I don't like it doesn't you don't get on top of it. Like you get to a point where you can ride the waves.
Yeah,
And that takes mindfulness, it takes a supportive community, it takes those around you who will bolster you up and help you to become aware when you're falling back into that stuck state of being.
yeah.
Okay, so for me, like I didn't go to life coaching school. And in fact, there is no um
Certification
yeah, at
or
this point in
yeah,
time, you can pay people for, a diploma saying, hey, or certification that you passed their course. And generally they're teaching you their system. Here's the system. This is, what we've acquired. And I've attended a lot of different workshops and things that have kind of helped to open my mind up as to how other people do it. And I have integrated some of those things into what I do. However, what I do I have been doing since day one in my tarot readings. I was never the one that would say I don't do predictions. I do potentials. And so people could come to see me about anything, but I would always find that little nugget and deep inside that's been buried down, and I would bring it to the surface for awareness. And once you had awareness on it, I could shift your perspective and move you into a better space. And so my guides were giving me downloads of have them do this, tell them to do this, shift them this way, look at this, so a lot of this stuff was has just been given to me. And so that combined with, some of the workshops I've done, I've integrated this together. But for me, because I'm doing spiritual life coaching, I chose to get a divinity certification, which is a pretty simple thing to get, but it at least allows me to say that I have my own ministry. Therefore, I have a protection from the law that I don't have to divulge anything personal that someone tells me. So it
Okay.
allows me a kind of an ethical or moral kind of, cushion there. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, so just know if you go to a life coach, there is no such thing as certification. What you get certified on, or what that which has a license or certification or true governance would be a counselor, a social worker, a psychologist, a psychiatrist. And I just want to explain that real quick, just to help people understand, because again, they don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So most counseling nowadays is through social workers and through psychologists. And the most common form is CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, um, which I'm sure it's more nuanced than how I see it, but I've done a lot of it in the past due to conditions in my life. And what it amounts to is talk therapy. And talk therapy, you're talking through until an awareness perks, and you're gently guided into these things. And it's a slow moving process.
Yeah.
And
Extremely
so,
slow a lot of times.
yeah. And and a psychiatrist, they do that, but they're able to prescribe medications. Okay. So, and they're usually a lot more expensive. So you might go see a counselor, a psychologist a therapist who is related to a psychiatrist so that they can do the medication through them. Um, anyway, um, so when you do this talk therapy, it's very slow moving, and you can do this for years and kind of go in circles and get nowhere. And again, not all, uh, there are a lot more therapists now who are employing more mindfulness techniques, who are employing more out there kind of things like EFT, emotional freedom technique, which is the tapping, or
Mhm.
they might be adding in EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization reprocessing, which is your eyes going back and forth, and then these epiphanies occur. Um, and dialectical behavior therapy, that's the mindfulness stuff. So they're starting to apply a lot more different things, or they might have, like, they specialize in, say, marriage counseling, so they go and get a certification of a process. So that moves people more proactively along. But for the most part, we're talking talk therapy, so it's like talking
Yeah.
to a friend, but you'll kind of go in circles. Now, the difference of what I'm doing is, um, okay, talk therapy is good for someone who's had trauma. It's definitely good for someone who's not very balanced with their emotions. I know when I'm talking to someone that they need to go see a therapist, and I will not work with them. Um, I have to have someone who, yes, you can be depressed. Yes, you can be um, having challenges with your emotions. You're feeling stuck. Why am I always sad? Why do I respond this way? So I take people like that and I move them through a more rapid process of becoming aware of where they're stuck, where these emotions are coming from. I use inner child work. I use EFT, um, neuro linguistic or programming. Yeah. So I use a lot of different things like this to help unhook from these stuck emotions. And then it's all about, okay, so how do we achieve a more consistent, lighter way of existing? How do I understand the beauty of life around me and so forth? So it's a lot more proactive, but then there's maintenance, because if you just do that and then you stop doing it, we all fall into these patterns. You end up hitting a roadblock, and life gets overwhelming, so it helps to have a community of people where you can continually go, okay, I've had this problem. This has come up. What tools would you guys suggest I use? Oh, okay, I can use this. So in other words, I'm helping to give you the tools to manage it yourself.
And reminding you to use them in the right situations.
Hmm.
Because so many times you've learned about the tool, but you don't even think about using it when you actually need to use it.
Yeah. Well, and we do that a lot with, like, we read a really good book or we go to a workshop, and we learn some techniques, but then you forget because
Yeah.
life goes on, and you have to integrate, like we do the weekly Wanderlust, because we want you to take something that we've talked about and actually integrate it into your life, because that's what creates the meaningful changes.
Right. And I don't know that we've done, I think maybe this is just an epiphany that I'm having.
Hmm.
Um, we're encouraging people in the Facebook group to do the integrations and tell us, how it went or whatever. But you almost need a reminder because we have a different integration in every podcast.
Hmm.
They need to become habitual, many of them,
Yeah.
for you to internalize these strategies.
Exactly. Well, and so for our Facebook group, it's kind of, we're giving everybody, all of this information, and we are sharing, like, it's a self-help kind of thing. Here
Yeah.
you go. Here's all these things. We're giving you free coaching. Like,
Yeah.
this is spiritual life coaching. Here you go. It's not one-on-one. It's not personalized, because we're talking about what interests us for the week, what's
Right.
occurred, what's popped into our mind, what we haven't yet covered. And we do ask for people, hey, you got something coming up? Share with us. We'll talk about it. We're happy to do that. But um, for people who want more of that one-on-one personal, they want that community that's actively striving towards that better feeling space. That's why I'm creating this monthly coaching, process. So, and I'm
I'm
still,
so excited about this, by the way. Oh my gosh. Okay.
well, and it's metamorphosized. I mean,
Yeah. You've been working on it for a while and it just, yeah, changed.
it
Yeah.
keeps getting better and better, and I'm like, I'm going, "Why haven't I launched this yet? Why am I not providing?" Oh, this is why. So more exciting things keep coming in. So, I'm gonna just take a moment to share it now.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
So what I'm doing now is a 6-week clarity quest. Okay. So 6-week clarity quest each week. For the okay, I'm looking. I'm going. Let me just explain. It's just like so hard to, like, I get so excited about it. So if you want to participate in it, it's going to be all over, my Facebook stuff. You can go to my page, you can go to Reels, you can go wherever, you can go into the group. It'll be there. But I'm only allowing up to 20 people in for founding members. These are going to be the people who are going to experience this for the first time, who are going to be able to offer me feedback, who are willing in exchange to offer testimonials so that other people understand what this feels like to go through this process.
Yeah.
So before you can become a part of my, monthly coaching group, you've got to go through the 6-week clarity quest. And that's going to help give you the understanding of where you're stuck, the things that you need to personally work on. Um, Here are the main tools. Like, you could go through the 6-week clarity quest and you would have all the tools to get yourself freaking unstuck, like to be able to move on, and apply it over and over again to every situation in your life. The difference is that at the end, you have the opportunity to then become a part of the monthly group experience. And that monthly group experience is what we're talking about, where you have a community that reminds you, like you have a chance to speak up and say, well, I'm having this issue going on. And I could say, hey, use this tool. Here's how you can do this. And have other people who are supporting you through, challenging times. Um, but then I'm going to add on things like, okay, now we're going to do a meditation thing, like at a different time, or now we're going to do a book study. Now we're going to do this, so there'll be all other things that are offered through the monthly group experience. So it's kind of a two-part thing. Um, and it's just all finally cohesively coming together. So anyone who's interested in it, little plug right here is that I'm going to be opening it up, I think next week for people to start signing up, maybe sooner. We'll see. And I'm going to give a bonus to those who sign up first, the fastest. And then filling out the rest of the 20 spots, you won't get this special incentive. And then we'll get going in April. It's probably going to be in April or towards the beginning of May.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to have some time to adjust, get everybody in, settled, and then get going on it. Super exciting.
Well, and in the meantime,
Mhm.
um, they can go to afirewithin.me and sign up for multitudes of different things in your schedule.
Private
Um,
sessions, yeah, one-to-one.
private sessions, yeah, one-on-one private sessions. Just because if you can't wait, you can't wait.
But when you start to hear this stuff, I think here's the thing that like when you go, God, I really need to get someone to help me with this. I've got to find a therapist. And there's a lot of therapists right now that are just they're booked up.
Yeah, you
Like
can't find one.
it's really, really hard. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and so when you start to understand, like, no, I'm not just sitting there doing tarot cards or, connecting with your spirit guides, yes, I'm getting downloads of information. I can see kind of behind the scene and energetically what's going on, what's gotten you to this point. But when you realize, okay, it's all about feeling better. It's all
Yeah.
about me learning, like not just talking through this one situation, but understanding how I can shift into my whole life being better, and this person can do it for me. Holy crap. Like, then it becomes
Yeah.
exciting. So yeah, if you want to do a one-to-one, one-on-one session just to kind of get a feel for things, fine. But otherwise, I would love, I wholeheartedly endorse you get involved with the 6-week clarity quest because it's going to be amazing.
I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be great. And I've done one-on-one coaching with you, and I've also been involved when there are other people
Mhm.
kind of supporting us, and it's great. It's just if I don't, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
What is it? Just fucking do it.
Just fucking do it.
No, this is
That's your affirmation for today. Just fucking do it.
okay. Have to
Sign up
write.
for a one-on-one session with Samantha just so that you can get a feel for how wonderful and fantastic she is one-on-one. Just fucking do it.
Well, so if you are, and the whole reason why I'm doing this, setting it up this way for the 6-week thing, I explained it gets you on track and all this stuff. But a lot of people, they've lost trust with themselves. They feel like they've tried things and it hasn't worked. And so, the idea that, oh my gosh, somebody like a lot of life coaches, spiritual life coaches, I mean, they're asking anywhere from 2,500 to $10,000 for anywhere from like a 6 to an 8-week or 12-week commitment. And
Yeah.
I've learned through my experience with people that it's the midway point they start to drop off. They're just like,
Yeah.
I can't keep doing this. This is,
It's too much.
even though they've put that financial commitment in, it's just too much. So that's why, like, it helps to, and not everybody can afford that. Like, it's a,
Yeah.
so I,
Or choose to spend their money that way, even if they can afford it.
yeah,
It's not a priority.
yeah. So coming in at, the price point that I'm offering all of this at, I'm doing it for those who really want to be involved and want to do it consistently. And so, it's, yes, the first 6 weeks, there's work. It's going to be very enlightening. It's going to be really, really cool. But you're coming in at a much lower price point. And, there's going to be a little bit of group coaching during the 6 week. And there's going to be a personal session with me for sure at the very beginning. And then, you know, if you move into the monthly group experience, it's like show up when you can, listen to the recordings when you can't. And again, there's all the other things that if I decide to focus on a book that you're interested in, jump into that book club,
And
do
I don't
that.
know if you mentioned, but it's gonna be in an
Yes.
app on your
Oh,
phone, in your
yeah.
hand,
Yeah. So
wherever you
that's
are.
huge difference. Yes, the calls
Yeah.
will still be via like Zoom or some program like that, because I'm looking at another one as well. But the idea is that all of this is going to be in the palm of your hands. The tools that you need, the reminders that you need. So wherever you are with your phone now, also there will be a desktop version. So you
Okay.
will be able to, like some people, I know that I like to be able to do a lot of my lessons on the computer because I like to type things out and not sit there and go tap tap tap.
Yeah.
Um, but to have the reminders to be able to suddenly jump on a Zoom call, all of that will be on the phone.
Or a reminder that a meditation is gonna be available, all of those things. I'm all about a push notification. I know some people are not, but I am.
Yeah. So people can choose whether they want to have that or not.
Yeah, because a lot of times I forget, and so, yeah, to know that that's available, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep it very, very interactive, very exciting. And it's also going to have a community. So like there's a lot of people that don't want to go on Facebook. And
Yeah.
I've had people create fake accounts, not, accounts that they don't, it doesn't really say anything about them, just so they can attend something that I'm doing through Facebook. And
Okay.
so, yeah, so with this, we're going to have a whole community feature. Again, you can access it via, your desktop, or you can do it via app, so that when you're having that down moment, when you need a little upliftment or you want to share a win, you can go right into the app and share it, and other people are going to be there to receive it. They're going to get, like, okay, this is what's going on today. Oh, this person needs help. Let me jump in and help. Like, it's a community support system without
Yeah.
having to deal with the nuances of Facebook, which I totally get. It's just been very frustrating.
Well, I'm psyched about it. Okay. So, back to business. So can you give us just a couple of examples of why people came to you for spiritual life coaching, and like what kind of situation would somebody come to a spiritual, you specifically,
Mhm.
spiritual life coach, to help them through?
Well, typically, I'll say that my typical clients are women between 45 and 65. It's not to say that they're not older or younger, but that's the typical range. Um,
Uh-huh.
I found a lot of them are Gen Xers. So, we just meld. I don't know. Um, they have had some major life change. Maybe they're thinking of a divorce, or they've broken up with their boyfriend, their partner, whoever, um, or something needs to shift, or they could be coming in empty nesters. Their kids are going off to school. Um, they could just feel stuck. Maybe it's career or something, and they just feel like they can never get to that next level. Whatever it is, so they just feel this stuck feeling of I don't feel like I can breathe anymore. And for some people, it's that they know, and this is a big one, they feel like there's something more out there than this day-to-day drudge, that it's not just this 9 to 5 thing. They know there's something more, but they don't know how to access it. They don't know where it is. They don't even know what it is. They just know there's something bigger they're supposed to be doing, or that they're supposed to be experiencing. And
Yeah.
they're not getting it through religion. They're not getting it through self-help books or retreats. It's just there's something more.
Yeah.
And so they'll come to me, like one-on-one sessions to begin to get a clue as to what's going on. What is this feeling I'm getting? So those are
Interesting.
usually the life situations that lead people into my front door or my Zoom.
My Zoom door.
That's my Zoom door. Yeah.
Okay, well that's great. And we became friends, and then you became my spiritual life coach. We were just introduced to each other, but we had a nice connection. And then talking to Samantha is like talking to your best friend, even if you just met her. I mean, she is my best friend, but she's very open, and it's comfortable, which sometimes when you go to a counselor, or when you go to, any of those situations, or even when you join a support group or whatever, you don't feel that ease and comfort.
Mhm.
And that's what you're all about, I think.
Well, and I recognize I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but
Right.
I don't need to be. The people who need to find me will find me. Um,
Right.
the people who resonate with me, they'll hear me talking somewhere. They will, like, I've had people, because I'll say, well, why did you choose me? And they'll say, well, it was the picture you put up, it was your face, or it was the comments. People said you were warm and inviting, or whatever. So like I've
Yeah.
learned to accept those compliments because they're the very essence of what I'm putting out there, so that people can feel the genuineness and feel comfortable with it. And I also tell people there's nothing you can really tell me that I haven't actually personally experienced in one way, shape, form, or another, either through
Right.
family members, or connections with people, or just having gone through it myself.
Yeah.
And so, like, people will be really nervous to tell me some things, and it's kind of frustrating in counseling when you're talking to a therapist and they start sharing their personal story, because you're like, but I do fall into that category and do that because I'm trying to let my clients know I've been there. You
They're
can
not alone.
dish. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Spill
Yeah.
all of it. Um, and I think that's, people say, okay, as a good counselor, you have to have gone through an experience. Like, how can you be a marriage counselor if you've never been married?
Right.
How can you be a therapist about weight loss if you've never had a weight problem? And there's a
Right.
lot of those individuals out there. And I think that they can be very effective. And I haven't necessarily gone through everything. Again, remember, I have that secret ingredient of my spirit guides, my intuitive ability. I'm able to perceive the field of probabilities. I'm able to see so much more energetically what's going on with you, physically what's going on with you.
Yes.
So that gives me a little bit more of an edge. But I've also been through pick it, I've had one marriage, I'm into my second, I've had kids from, both marriages. Like, it's just had stuff happen to me when I was young, had stuff happen to me when I was older. It's like
Yeah.
I've been around. I've experienced it.
You get around.
I've been around. Well, I used to think I was so square, like I was just so, like fit this little box. I'm such a goody, goody, like two shoe kind of thing. And then I'm like, hell no, I've done some pretty amazing things. So, yeah, so I have cultivated that presence for people to feel comfortable
Yeah.
and to feel assured.
Well, and Samantha is not good about tooting her own horn. So I'm over here to honk, honk, honk about how wonderful she is. And because she has helped me so much, and because she has shared stories, not specifically who did this or that or whatever, but situations where someone came to her with whatever the problem was, and this is how they kind of worked through it. And so I know how effective she is. And so if she won't toot her own horn, I'm over here telling you how wonderful she is, and
Uh,
you need to reach out and you need to work with her.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Like, I had to talk her into us talking about what she really does, because she's so willing to give this information. And like she keeps saying, this is free coaching. Our podcast is free coaching. And
Mhm.
I'm along for the ride too. I'm getting the coaching every time we do a podcast as well. And I'm sharing, some of my input, but she's a professional that's been doing this for so long.
Well, and, like this would be a $185 session. Like
Good to
people don't
know.
realize,
And you're getting it for free.
make something of it, use it.
Yes,
But it
yes.
also gives people an opportunity. Like I love doing this with you, like, for us to share all of this. And it gives people a chance to also get to know me and my style and, that sort of thing. So I think that helps as well. But I think the serving side of it is actually really important.
Yeah. And it allows me to be a podcaster, so I thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah, Diana totally agrees on that. It's so much fun. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up because I just can't take anymore. Uh, we're gonna move on to our sponsorship. Is that cool?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. We can't keep bringing you these uplifting, insightful tips, tricks, and techniques on how to navigate your way to a healthier, happier life without the help from our sponsors.
Us.
So today we're talking about the Moringa Daily Supplement that is provided to us via Lab, Life Activated Brands. So Moringa is renowned for its numerous health benefits. Just one little packet has oodles of nutrients, making it a superfood. Honestly, it has almost all the stuff. Moringa has been touting its health benefits for over 3,000 years. Talk about timeless goodness. From boosting immunity and improving gut health to rocking antioxidants, this green guru is the ultimate green juice. Say bye bye to sluggish vibes and hello to a moringa powered zest for life. So Diana, what do you want to share about about the
Here
life
it is.
activated moringa daily supplement?
Okay, so this is my favorite, and, there's so much
All
I
of them
could
your favorite. Okay, let's just say that, but it's your
well, Samantha's my favorite, and this is my favorite, lab product, and it's part of it's part of the fitness bundle, but this is what I started with, and I fell in love with it. It's so wonderful. But what I want to talk to you about, it's a little packet of powder, sachet they call it,
favorite.
and you mix it with water. And sometimes I put a little bit of coconut water in it too, because I just like coconut water. But what I want to talk about today
Wait, what does
is
it taste like?
it tastes delicious. It tastes like, it's fruity. It tastes like pineapple-ish.
Yeah,
It
because
it
when we
it
talk about the green, like it's the green juice, people think, "Oh my god, it's gonna be like earth
sludge and
dirt."
disgusting. Grass. It looks like no, no, no. It tastes really good. It tastes fruity.
Mhm.
Um, it's delicious. I just love it. But what I wanted to talk about today is, all the vitamins and minerals and everything that's in this superfood basically is what it is. And the fact that it boosts your immunity. So around my house, my daughters come and go, whatever, one of them lives with me and she's a server. And at where she's working, everyone has been sick for like 3 weeks now. And she keeps saying, I'm picking up this shift because this person's sick. I'm picking up that shift.
Wow.
I'm just glad I'm not sick, blah, blah, blah. Well, she got it the day before yesterday and she started feeling kind of crummy. But because I drink this every day, I know I have not been sick since I started drinking this, which
No,
is
you
amazing. Like we've
starting
been
in the
through the
fall?
whole winter and fall, and both of my daughters have been sick. My husband's been sick. Everybody around me has been sick, but I haven't been sick.
Mhm.
Um, it's packed with antioxidants. Okay, I'm looking at my notes too. It's packed with antioxidants, and it has vitamins A, all the B's, C, D, E, K, folic acid, blah 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 blah. But it boosts your immune system and it helps your immune system fight off all of this gunk that's around you. So I just love it. Um, and then a couple of the vitamins that I wanted to talk about are vitamin C, because if you get sick, you want to keep your vitamin C level up and you're going to get a little bit better or whatever.
Oh,
So
yeah.
because Annie got sick, I started doubling up on this. So normally I drink 1 sachet a day, but I decided I would go ahead and do two. And you can do as many, you can drink as many as you want. One usually, well, maybe not
Yeah,
a
you don't
long,
want to go over like
but even 2 or 3 a day, you could if you wanted to.
yeah,
And
if you need
normally
to
I
do,
just drink one.
yeah.
And mainly I drink it because it tastes good, but also I don't eat a lot of vegetables and my my food choices are not always the best. So I'm getting my vitamins and my minerals, my amino acids, all of that stuff by drinking this. And it tastes good. And my body soaks it up and it's like, this is great. I hope that noise wasn't
No,
disgusting.
it was perfect.
But it has 7 times the vitamin C of an orange. It has 50 times the B2 of bananas and potassium. I think 7 times potassium. I don't know.
Yeah.
B3, 50 times that of peanuts, and vitamin A 4 times, and beta carotene is vitamin A, or I
Mhm.
guess they're whatever, 4 times that of carrots. So
Can you imagine trying to eat all of that?
I was gonna say, you can't physically eat as much as you would need to get these naturally from, these healthy foods too.
Exactly.
So, that's my Moringa TED Talk of the day for boosting immunity. It does so many other things too, but that's what I wanted to focus on
Mhm.
because it also is helping me. The pollen is out or
Yeah.
coming out, and I have bad out pollen allergies. I'm not suffering. So I don't know what it's doing with my
Yeah.
how I'm reacting to some,
It's good
whatever
stuff.
allergens there are. It's some good stuff.
That's seriously good stuff. So if
Yes.
y'all want to get any of it, we have a link down in the description. Or you can go to our blog on our website, and the information will be there as well.
Yes. And get yourself some moringa. Also, it's 30-day money back guarantee. So you get the bag, you get 30 pack sachets of it, you try it. But I'm gonna tell you what, I drank the first sachet and could feel it. And then the next day I was like, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
And it just kept getting better and better and better.
Yeah, that's proof in the pudding right there. That
Well,
is
and we don't talk about stuff that we don't love. I don't know if you guys have noticed that on our podcast. So, for us both to be talking about this, it's worth a try.
yep, most
Do it.
definitely. Okay, so we're gonna jump into weekly wanderlust.
Okay, good.
So this week on the weekly wanderlust, um, our topic for this podcast was about spiritual life coaching, what it's all about, how it can benefit you, why you would choose to use it. So in this integration, um, what I want to do is get y'all to have some awareness. And we're going to talk about shelf help. So people know about self help. Shelf help is all of those books that you've bought that are supposed to help you see the world differently. They have the tricks, the tips, the answers, the whatever. And you bought them because you felt like somebody had recommended it. They felt so much better after reading it. Once you read it, you were going to, go out and take on the world. And yet what tends to happen is you read the first couple of chapters, if you even crack the book open, and you
Right.
end up putting it on the shelf.
You have good intentions.
Yes. So these are all your good intention books. There's good vibes coming from all these books, but they're literally sitting, getting, dust on the shelves. That's called shelf help. So what we're saying is you get that feeling of the possibilities, the changes that are going to happen in your life. You get psyched up. And then there's no one there encouraging you, hey, keep reading. What are you doing? How's it going? And so you end up, it ends up getting, thrown on top of other books or underneath other books, or to the wayside, or you loan it to a friend. You say, oh, it was a great book. Honestly, I've only gotten through the first couple of chapters, but I hear it's a great book. So in this particular integration, I'm asking you to go and look underneath all of your papers, your other books, in the corners on your bookshelf, and list out all of the shelf help books. Like I would love if you could write down all of the titles and the authors and create a list and come over to the Facebook podcast group and share that list with us. Or if you want to put it below, you don't want to go to the Facebook, group, that's fine. List it below, but we would love to hear from you. All
Okay,
of
and I
the
have an addition to
Sure.
that. I
Okay.
haven't discussed it with you, but what were you as well as the title, what were you looking for when
Ooh,
you got that book? Like, what problem were you trying to solve, or what information did you think would help you move forward in your life in what area?
I love that. Yeah, because that is so telling. Yeah, and yeah, are you still there? Have you
Yeah,
resolved
like what was going on that you thought this might be able to help you?
it? Oh, I love
And
that.
did it? Probably not,
You
but
know,
maybe.
you
And
know things.
are those things still going on? Is that still an issue for you, even though you thought that would help you with it? So,
No, I love that. Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you. Spicy
oh,
affirmations.
this is double spicy.
Double spicy. You guys, keep water with you when you listen to this because it's gonna be super spicy.
This is stereo spicy affirmation.
Just fucking trust yourself and just fucking do it.
Yes, I love it. Yes. Fucking
And
trust
eventually we will
yourself
make
and
our own
fucking
card
do it.
set for these that you guys will be able to purchase. We just are going to keep adding on to these. And once we've created enough of our own, then we will come out. I got it all figured out. This is gonna be so
Okay, cool.
spicy affirmations. Um, okay, so now we're gonna wrap it up. I want everyone to know all of the resources. We have the KISS I always do KISS podcast groups over here. You can join it. It's join the group. It's for women only because we got to talk about our stuff. This is our stuff, our time. And then over on the website, the KISS, what is it? kiss.afirewithin.me, links below. Over there, we have the blog. The blog takes what we talked about today, the main topic, and it condenses it so that you get a different perspective. Maybe you didn't hear something quite that we were saying. Sometimes it's a transcript. Like from last week, we did the channeling. So you have to go look at it. It's the transcript of what we talked about. So it's super, super cool. But this week, it'll be a little bit about, life coaching, that kind of stuff, and just kind of make it easier to read instead of hearing all of our so's, ams, that's whatever.
Well, and you'll have the link to sign up for one-on-one coaching, one-on-one.
Well, there'll be the products will be listed there. And so, yeah, anything we've talked about in this podcast, it's all going to be there in that blog post, and it's going to have a matching cover. So it's easy to find.
Cool.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. So we will see you next time.
Next time, y'all. Bye.